Hi. Hello. And welcome to the Partner Panel. So, let me actually ask you guys. Let's talk about opinions about patch 13 now that you guys actually have played it. Because it was different. Speculating and talking about all the things coming. The heads-up display. How do you feel about it now?
I mean, there's some small changes I would do, right, after playing the way more games that I've gotten on it since, testing. But, I would just move, some things around to be, a little bit less eye fatigue-y, right?
Eye fatigue? Are you talking about, like icons, or...?
Yeah, no, when you have your buffs populate on the left, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's right above the chat, and, your pings pop up over there. I think the ping should be over by the map instead. You know what I mean? So all that information is condensed in one section of the HUD.
Have you pulled the Thanos yet?
I have, yeah. I have a picture of it actually.
Yeah, I took a clip. I'll be honest, when you have all those buffs, it is a bit overwhelming. I literally have the bottom corner of my screen just filled up with random floating orbs, and then the chat's over there, and then side shit pops up from the side too. So I guess I can see what you're.
I can also understand the eye fatigue for the notifications. If you have the kill count, you're all right, somebody died. You look, somebody died. Wait, where were they? And then you gotta so you look all the way across the screen to see okay, they were in the jungle here.
Yeah.
I don't like the notification being on the opposite side of the chat. Yeah, because there's moments where I'm like, whoa, what was that ping? I'm like, fuck, I missed the notification. Now I gotta look from all the way on the right to all the way on the bottom left, hit enter, and be like, missing mid. Got it. I honestly thought that we're gonna stay up way longer than they do. I still find myself missing a lot of
It's almost like just watch the chat. Don't even pay attention to the ping system.
But the chat hides. It hides itself.
It does, but it stays up longer than the ping system.
True.
Yeah, it does.
That's true. That one's a big one. Yeah.
It's also I feel like where the pings themselves pop up on that left. I don't really look there that often, right? So I kind of ignore it subconsciously. I'm just whatever, you know what I mean? They're enemy missing mid, and I'm like, well, I'm dead. It's because you pinged that 15 minutes ago.
Right.
So, go ahead.
I like it. I think the patch itself overall, it definitely, the way I said it in somebody's chat was, it gives you that light at the end of the tunnel, but we had that, we know that SMS has a good chance of making something great here, but now I feel that light has gotten brighter. It definitely this setup here has definitely paved the way to make things, they have potential of doing really great things with this game.
Yeah, I've been telling people very similar things. I just tell them, this is not the patch, but this was a much needed patch that put the game where it needs to be so it can now move forward.
Exactly.
Because mechanically, I gotta say, bro, it feels fun. And that's not something that I thought I would say. You feel me? Usually me being Mr. Negative Nancy over here. It was fun. It really was. I play, I'm landing my shit. I know if I die, it wasn't a likeliness now. It wasn't the game's fault. I fucked up. Now if I die, it's not like I threw a thunk and it's my thunk disappeared. I hit him.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Right. Now I'm I thunked him. Fuck, I still died. So maybe I shouldn't have W keyed. Okay.
It's also I feel so much more immersed in this update, between the sound update and the HUD itself. It gets me more focused on the gameplay versus the HUD elements a lot, which is again reason why I'll miss pings, because I'm just kind of so zoned in. You know what I mean?
True.
But it definitely brings it more of a cohesive picture into it. So I'm happy with the HUD. There are some small changes. Overall, the update feels fine. A balance is balance, right? We have bi-weekly balance patches coming. We'll be fine.
There's always going to be issues there.
Yeah, it's a MOBA. It's never perfectly balanced ever, right?
Kill the bear. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely balances definitely need to happen. Still with the HUD though, like when we tried recording this before, I brought up the fact that the team icons, like your portraits, I feel like they're small. After playing it, I still feel that they're small. They're really small portraits up there. I do like the new ultimate notification, like
yeah,
your teammates
it's a lot
your ultimate.
brighter than I thought it would be.
It definitely is a lot. Yeah, in the picture they show it in the patch, it doesn't show how bright it is. It just looks like a blue dot, but it actually has that that what do you want to call that, translucent stem. Looks like it's got light shining through it.
I did find it weird how, like you said, like the shine of it was like 3,000 times magnified. Like it's hella fucking bright, but at the same time, it's just this random ass streak at the corner of their picture. You know what I mean? It's almost like the shine was kicking in and somebody paused it right at the shiny part.
Yeah.
So
that's
I mean,
exactly what it seems like.
Just pet peeve, but I will say, I don't know, man. Like whenever, like I'll be honest, whenever I first was going into the map, go figure, I was like, you know what? The heads up display, whatever. Like heads up display isn't make or break for me, right? Like it could have stayed the old heads up display and I would have been fine if it stayed like that for another 6 months. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those like, but I want my health bar to look pretty. But I will say, going into it, it's almost like subconsciously it feels more intuitive. Like it just feels a little bit more natural now, as opposed to before. And like the items being at the bottom and literally just in the perfect order, and your keybinds show up under, the stats show up above the items, like just little things like that. I just look at it and I'm like, I don't get confused as to, how many Bengal stacks I have, for example. Instead of before 100%. Where 3 of the numbers were literally jumbled up into this little section. Now
they were all in a row before, so you had like no idea which one was which.
Yeah, it was a mind fuck to be able to figure that out before. But just little things like that. Like I like that they would it be considered more of like daily life changes that are just like a little bit simpler, that you look at them and you're like, you know what? Okay, that makes sense. I like that. I know a big complaint was the fact that there isn't a total like kill scoreboard, and I know that they finally announced that that's coming. So seeing
that's
that
huge,
at least,
actually, because I didn't even like it. The thing is, like, we didn't like. We talked about it. I looked at it, like, all right, didn't think anything of it. And then in game, I'm like looking for it. I'm like, oh, I have to hit tab for this. Like, okay, let me hit tab. Let me pull it up. What's going on? But yeah, the fact that they're going to change that because everybody on that's the thing. That's another thing that I applaud SMS for. If they get enough of the community to say, hey, we want this, they're there. Like, okay, we're gonna, this will be implemented. This is not the first time it's happened. They've done this plenty of times, and I really, like the fact that they do that.
Now, I really hope that they already confirmed that this is coming, but like, team total gold, or just to at least kind of see what the enemy has. Dude, I promise you, I was today old when I found out that the gold next to their name was a bounty.
I was gonna bring that up. I found that out Tuesday. Somebody said, "Oh, that's actually bounty." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, "No, there's gold right there." I'm like, "No, that's your bounty." I'm like, fuck.
It is nice to see the bounty. I did not expect that coming in this patch. TBH, being able to see the bounty, I'm like, hey, now maybe people might be like, hey, prioritize that fucking twin blast a little bit more, please. Or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot more easier to tell like who you should be focusing if you're paying attention. You know what I mean? Looking for that kind of stuff. 100%.
Speaking of the icons that you mentioned, Cooch, I will say in the draft, those icons, they're so easily confused.
Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about that. I noticed it. Like they all look very similar.
Well, it's because they all have an arrow. Take that arrow out and just finish whatever drawing that is. Like, just leave a shield, leave the book, leave the bow. You feel me?
That, or at least that, or maybe even change up the arrow. Like it literally is the exact same arrow in every one. You know, like it doesn't have to be uniform like that. I do have to point out, I've said it in a couple matches, the jungle icon. Tell me that's not a moose.
It does look like a moose, 100%. Yeah,
I
no,
fucking can't. That's funny.
You can tell our devs are Canadian.
Yeah.
Lamau.
Yeah, like I
can't.
personally like the old ones more than I like these ones. But then again, that also could just be I played with the old ones for so long. You know what I mean?
Right.
They are easily confused, but then it's also what, not even a week into it.
And it is only 6 icons. Eventually,
yeah.
people will figure out the difference. You know.
Exactly. So it's just like,
I do like these ones. I just think they are too similar. Like you, literally mid being the mage book, you know, like a magician's book. Take the arrow out of it, and it's literally all right. Now we're a book, and it's here's your mage look. You know, maybe add a little like stars or whatever, like you do, like a magic, coming out of the fucking wand or something. I don't know.
The only one that should keep the arrow is the fucking bow and arrow.
It is carry, yeah. Yeah,
the rest of them, if you take the arrow off, it'll be fine.
The arrow, in my opinion, is literally just your character, or like a GPS arrow. Like that's your character. I'm playing carry, so I'm the crossbow. I'm playing mage, so I'm the book. Like I understand that they wanted it to be like all cohesive and like represent this like a theme across them all. So like it's fine, and I'll get used to it. I don't really. It's whatever. It's not something I'm not gonna gripe about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that, like, personally, I just noticed, but I was like, whatever. I will say, though, quite frankly, unless I'm in the item shop, like, status icons and, like, stat icons and themselves, dude, I haven't been paying attention to them.
Yeah, so, like, the status icons pop up really small on the enemy health bar or friendly health bar if you're actually looking at your friendlies. But, like, I don't use them often, but I use them very, very, like, a little bit. Like when you're using Bellica Knockup and you got that little bit of a stun afterwards, you do see that change. Like you can time stuns based on that change to like add to the stun time. But besides from that, it's just like small nuanced things that you don't really notice.
Yeah, I think that's more for like Twitch or YouTube. Like that's probably gonna come off better because they're probably somebody that's more paying attention to what's going on around the screen, and like this little status icon popped up. But like I'll be honest, whenever I'm in the middle of a fight and he got stunned by a Narbash, I'm like, all right, I know exactly how long that's gonna last. I'm shooting. Let me throw my mind behind. Feel me? I'm not sitting here like, well, did the stasis icon, like did the rooted or icon pop up, or like it's I'll be honest, I haven't seen a single one, but it's just because I have not paying attention. Like it might have been something that kind of
we're playing the game so much that like we know these ability. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's necessarily you're looking at the icon, but you're watching that little white timer bar, appear then disappear. How it kind of.
I haven't even been looking at that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm literally focused on my reticle, that little red dot staying red. That's my only focus.
Yep.
Right.
ADC life.
For real,
Before we move
bro.
on, though, the role icons, since we didn't get to talk about it last one, that I love the fact that they have the fill.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge, bro.
That's way healthy.
Great to have. Yes.
That's huge. Like I'll literally put fill and then just type dual fill. So much easier.
Yep.
So much easier.
Yeah.
That's another huge quality of life change, quite frankly, that they didn't have to do, but throwing it in there, it's like, thank you.
Yeah, you're already redesigning ones. You might as well make a fill one while you're there because it's just helpful.
I'm not even mad that one has an arrow. TBH.
Yeah.
Ain't even mad.
Whatever.
I'll fill any of these.
Now, the more I play, the more I'm liking these aspect icons. Actually.
I agree.
They're very clean.
The more that I have played and like looked at them, I can tell what they are at a glance now. You know what I mean?
Bro, right? Like when I open up the scoreboard, I'm like, all right, got it. Beast Hunter Rook. Just because I just started getting a little bit used to them, and I'm like, okay. He went king, fool. But I'm digging them. I am. Like the design of them. I'm digging the screen where you choose them. I haven't had any issues. I don't know if other people have. It's just mega smooth. I like the fact that I can see the character that I picked. in that same screen, bro. That saved me today.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Oh man, I've defaulted to picking carry aspects on like mages, and I'm just like, oh wait a minute.
Bro, I solo queued today, and I was like, holy shit, I actually forgot who I chose. And then I look at the corner, I'm like, oh, Richter. Oh, yo, thank Jesus they added that. Yes.
Richter's a great option with that, though, right? You said you went solo, and you can do solo Richter, you could do jungle Richter, and you can do duo Richter, right? The problem I have is it only shows you that screen. You can't see your team. So what if the match before you went solo Richter, then this match you're going duo Richter? You're not going to build the same aspects. So how do you like?
And you go on autopilot. I feel that.
Let me see my team so I know that I get the right one.
Have you pressed tab with the aspect screen up, sir?
Can you?
I have not. Is that a thing? All right,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bet. Honestly, that's a quality of life thing too. But
yeah,
I will say, unless they have the word tab for scoreboard somewhere on that screen, it probably isn't too intuitive, because a lot of people they're like, oh shit, once I'm on the screen I can't see it. How many people are actually gonna hit tab and be like, oh, I guess it does work?
The big thing, you can scout the enemy. I mean, at least for right now. I think it's probably going to be changed.
You can see their aspects?
Currently, at any point in time, you can look at their aspects and hover over them, and it'll tell you what aspects they chose. I'm assuming that's going to be changed to when you have sight of them for the first time.
You get sight of them first. Okay.
Yeah, because it doesn't show the icon. It just if you have to physically hover it with your mouse, and it'll text will pop up and tell you. So I'm assuming that's going to get changed. Yeah, but right now you can.
Hey man,
but can you see your team's aspects?
Yeah.
So if you hit tab, you can see what your team picked. Like, okay, this guy went with this one. All right, and then you can.
Yep, 100%.
I like that. Yeah, they definitely. Then what Windu said, they need to put tab for to pull team up or something. That,
I mean, it'll probably come in with some more quality of life changes, because I mean we all know the HUD's not like 100% done.
No.
You still have feedback and stuff to do on it. So.
What do you mean? This isn't a full release game?
I can't. Side note.
It's like.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, like, I think my favorite thing, like, is the cohesiveness of the aspects in their color, because like even like the purple aspects, like you can tell them apart, but you can still like at a quick glance know, you know what I mean? Like
there's enough uniqueness to them to be able to tell.
Yeah.
I have one issue.
What's up?
Purple's the only one that doesn't have a chest piece.
Because you're an assassin. Most of your purple items are based on assassins, my guy. You just kill people.
Okay, but it doesn't have a chest piece. You have queen, you have king, you have bishop, you have rook.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and purple doesn't have a chest piece.
True.
Why can't the knight be an assassin or something? Anything.
You don't know. There might be a fourth aspect coming. You don't know.
I feel like knight would be better under green. Change my mind.
Yeah,
knights, armor,
or like a red aspect.
Bro, why don't they just put a? No, never mind. I was about to say something stupid. Yeah.
Caught him.
You caught him. Now, I honestly think that the store, absolutely probably one of my favorite parts of this update, because I will say, dude, the easy loadouts and the recommended loadouts and stuff like that actually comes in clutch sometimes. Like as a carry, I'm gonna build Gravedigger crossbow first, at least the way it is right now, right? So going in, I just Gravedigger crossbow. All right, bet whatever I could afford from it, that's what we took.
Alt one. Lane.
That's it. I alt one until I finish boots. Then from there, I'll be like, yeah, let's spice it up. Let's see how I'm feeling right now.
Let's actually look at the scoreboard now. But we already know what the first two items are.
For sure. But I honestly, bro, like the smoothness of it. One of my favorite things to do is to go to all items, filter it, and have all the legendary items up top, and then the beginner items under. Dude, I love it. I got all the finished items, and then directly below, if I want to pick up a sentry ward, it's right there. If I want to pick up a random mana pot, it's right there. Literally, like I don't give a damn about all the in-between items. Being able to go from late game item, early game item, just have them side by side, I'm like, dude, I love that. I open up my store and leave it there all game. So much easier for me.
Nice. That's a little tidbit I learned now. I like that.
Yeah.
What about the store that I love is the far right, how it shows you if you hover on that item, it'll show you what it'll give you as your statistics. Like, all right, this is where you're at now. If you get this will give you that. You know, I love that little addition.
Not paid attention to that. I love it. Yeah. That's nice. But I'll be real. The only thing I do on that right column is click on that plus sign when I'm lazy. And ironically, that's more work than Control 1. Ironically.
Yeah.
Like if I'm here buying shit, I'm like, plus.
Yeah. I mean, that's also, like, again, I think because we played the game so much, right? Like if I was a new player and I'm like really just learning these items, getting to see that is super big.
You get a vibe.
So it's really cool. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think it's gonna help a lot when we get more items and you have like way more choices of like where you're gonna go. You can be like, okay, well, this item gives me this and this. I can sacrifice for a little bit more power, and you can see that exact number you're gonna get. So maybe you have like a benchmark power you want to hit for this build. You know what I mean?
And that's where I use it. I use it when I'm using my, if I'm playing support, I know my like first 3 items I'm gonna get, but after that it's like, depending how the game goes, like what's going on. So I'll like, all right, do I go, Tiog here, or or should I go with
Warlock Opus?
yeah, or the trinket, like which which one's the better one? So you hover over Tiog, you see what it gives you. You hover telepath
trinket. TT, bro.
TTOP.
Yeah.
TTOP.
Start TT.
Yeah.
If you're playing Gray Jungle, TT first item. Promise.
Bro, that sounds so fucking broken, bro. Already. That sounds so broken. But I mean, I'll be real with you. Like, I genuinely enjoy in the store the fact that all your items are now in the middle of the store at the bottom. It's not like I have to rely on my bottom right corner of the screen. I like that when I click on an item, it gives me a builds into. So let's say if I am in the mood, I'm like, I want to build damage. I click on the A pistol, and then bam, these are all my items. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it, let's go for that one. And you know what I mean?
I use that feature to find like items. Like if I'm in the recommended tab, I don't want to go to all items and like scroll for my thing. I just click the pistol and it shows me what it builds into, and I click that and just keep it moving.
That's a very smart thing to do too, for sure. Even though the recommended items are pretty good.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's sometimes where I want to go like demonic embrace on like Boris, and it's not in the recommended at the time, so I'll just click pistol.
I will say, I definitely highly recommend SMS to fucking add more people to the solo role, and maybe consider more people as solo laners, because right now you got like 7 motherfuckers that are recommended to start Affliction, and only Quang and Greystone are recommended to start the T armor.
I think like it's so weird, right? Because like I know who I want to have that, but then it's like we will play them in offlane or jungle, but which role are they going to be mostly played in? And it's like Severog, I think personally he's better in the jungle because he just gets fatter stacks there. But there's also a large part of the community that will play him in the off lane. Which one do we itemize for? You know what I mean? Which one do we say this is your recommended build? Now I understand the thought process of it should rotate around what role you choose in lobby, right? Because people are throwing this around too, and like that's a good thought process until you have that one dude who doesn't pick a role, and then you have to fill his role instead of the role you chose. And now your recommended items aren't for that. Now you can say that's a certain use case scenario, use the full shop, but I think per character is just better.
Yeah.
I
think it needs to get fixed that Narbash recommended health pot.
Yeah, that's so stupid. Narbash recommended.
I'm like, what?
Straight health pot, bro.
So, I mean,
every time I play Narbash, I have to go get a mana pot. I'm like, I
don't pick mana pot on Narbash when I play Narbash. I pick health pot. I take magician because that's what I do, and I don't ever have mana problems. And I have shrine to help my carry hit. I never have mana problems with Narbash now. So why do I need mana pot?
They should. I would say, don't put a health pot. Don't put a mana pot.
Omnipot, bro. Take them both.
I would straight say put a sentry there. Low key. Like, I'd rather my Narbash have a bangle and 2 sentries. Put one in our back elbow. Put one, like, deep, like, in a corner of their elbow where they won't notice it unless they're doing a weird-ass fucking rotation. But by that point, it saved our life. It was worth the 75 gold, you know?
100%, I mean, I agree.
But what I was going to say is, how do you guys feel about recommended? Like, imagine you open up your store and under recommended, it just says the roles. Carry, solo, jungle, mid, support. And then as soon as you click on that, let's say I click on support, now the recommended support store is there open for the rest of the game.
Unless you want to go back and change it.
Unless you want to go back and, like, hit a back arrow or some random shit. Like, I'm just saying, like, instead of having the recommended loadouts pre-assigned, maybe a little option on that left column to let them choose the recommended loadout.
I will say that a lot of the right now, a lot of the recommended looks very similar, right? So, like, but it is per character. But because of our, like, low item pool, it's going to look like it's like, oh, this guy's played as support. It's not. It's actually per character. So, like, as we get later in, you'll see, like, this one, like, all of a sudden Grux will not start the same items, and he'll have a different recommended tab, whether he's off lane or jungle, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Are those going to be always meta builds, by the way?
I'm not sure how often they plan on updating that, because it at the moment it's kind of like I wouldn't say too much of a hassle, but, like, it's kind of more of a pain in the ass to do when you have so much other stuff you got to focus on, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I would expect in the future for them to be, like, more updated to, like, the most commonly bought items on this hero. You know what I mean?
Kind of like Fall Metric does.
Yeah, but that's just my opinion. I'm not 100% sure. But I don't expect the recommended to change anytime soon unless it's, like, egregiously we have the wrong item. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I like that it's essential and then 3 offensive, 3 defensive, just suggestions, and then you can go from there. I think that alone is huge. And honestly, I've seen even new players get more comfortable. Like, my little brother just tried Fault for the first time since early access, like alpha, like that, like before
that one free weekend.
Yeah, before the winter event, right? Yeah. So he bought it back then, the Master Pass and everything, or, whatever it was on Indiegogo at the time. Didn't like it. He didn't like how it performed, didn't like how it felt, didn't like the item shop. Back then, we didn't even have pictures, you feel me?
Yeah.
And now he tried it, I kid you not, for, like, the entire first 7 minutes of the match until shit started getting serious. He was like, wow, bro, this looks good. Like, this looks smooth. Like, oh my God, look at the jungle. And again, he's got the whole huge contrast, not people that have seen it daily. But he's like, yo, I might actually get back into this game because everything's running smooth. Everything looks better. It actually looks more like a finished game now than before. It's in a good spot for me to actually support it. And I'm like, that's what's up. I wonder if other people feel that way. I can only imagine,
I have people come in my chat. I've had both sides of the coin. I've had people come in and they do this is awesome, and then I have people come in and like, are you kidding me? I had somebody come in and say the store is worse than what it was.
Really? Did they say why?
I'd have to go back and look at my my stream and read it again. But, like, I'll let you know. I'll screenshot it to you and send it to you when I go back and find it. But yeah, I was like, are you kidding?
I've really? Actually never I haven't come across that. I've seen, feedback. The biggest feedback that I've gotten negatively from people is too many people thought mastery skins were coming this patch. Too many people thought that a lot of the changes that are, like, post 13 were coming this patch. People were like, we only get 1 Grux skin. That's it. All these skins that they tease, we only get 1 Grux skin. Like,
thing is, we weren't even teased that Grux skin. Like, that wasn't even that was like, I turned it on. I'm like, we got this.
Welcome.
I was like, all right, I like this.
I thought it was a bug.
One thing I do want to say to that point, right? We've already covered the read the update situation, right? But at the same time, it's also like, maybe that's on the studio for not presenting it in like a more clear way. You know what I mean? But at the same time, this is the first patch in patch 13 and patch number 13, right? We still got point whatever. So like all that stuff, it'll come in. Like the skins aren't the main worry. You know what I mean? There's a lot of gameplay changes that you might not even have felt that is in this patch that we covered. You know what I mean? So I understand. I appreciate the feedback from me personally, but at the same time, it's like, just wait. Like, give us a second. We got you.
I get that. But like Windu, before we started this partner panel, Windu did a video about us being spoiled. You know, because we went through with all those heroes. We're getting a hero every so often, and now all of a sudden that went down to a straight nothing. You know, we were waiting for patch 13. And here's the situation now. We're also getting spoiled again because they put so much stuff in the update, even stuff that was post 13. Now we're waiting. We're gonna get another. You saw in this weekly update. This weekly update that we're going over here. It's a very small update. If you would have just saved all that post 13 stuff and put it and saved it for post 13 updates, we wouldn't like right now. This community is going to be spoiled to the point to where now that these few updates after post 13 are going to be so small, we're like, this is all we're getting. Like, why are you even updating us weekly? And that's going to be the issue you're going to have with that.
From my personal perspective, what I think the weekly updates are going to evolve into is the off week of the balance update, right? That one is going to be talking about the balance stuff that we are looking into doing, so you have a heads up. You know what I mean? So right. You don't look at it and then suddenly you wake up the next week and like more guess is shit or something. Reference. Yeah. So like this is what we're looking at. You guys give us feedback about whatever you feel about the direction of what we're looking at, and then we'll move on. And then at the bottom of that these are some things that the team is working on in the background besides from this balance update, and those skins and stuff were like that's that section, right? Right. It's like this is not here right now, but this is stuff that we're working on. And then the next week is going to be, here's your actual patch notes, balance changes, and an update, a small update on that. So these updates are going to feel smaller, but more consistent versus what 13 was.
I'd be okay with that. I would just say
more consistent. Like it's a weekly update. Would they?
Not consistent like time wise, consistent like content wise.
Yeah, okay. Like we're always going to get something.
But I'm saying but I get that, and we are going to get something. Us three here, we all understand that. But I'm telling you, and you as a moderator, Arma, that you're going to get next week when they come out with it, it's going to be a small balance update. That's all it's going to be. They're going to be like, this is all we got? Like, are you kidding me? Like, that was not an update. That was, a paragraph. Like, come on. Give me, but if they would have saved all this post stuff, you wouldn't have the issue. Windu wouldn't have people coming in, hey, we didn't get master skins. What happened to the master skins? They said we were going to get that. You wouldn't have those issues if we would have just saved the post 13 stuff for post 13 updates.
I do think it's something as simple as just adding big ass bold letters.
Yeah,
not like included in the next patch. You feel me? Exactly. Because in all, like, what is it? What's it been like? 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months of about patch 13.
8 updates. Yep.
Yeah, so they've literally been showing all this stuff, and then in the fine print of the paragraph above, it says post-patch 13.
Yeah, and it's peppered in there. It's not like
you feel me? Like it says it. But how many people just look at the pictures, bro? Like,
right?
Like everybody that's coming in my stream, I promise you, they didn't fucking read. They're just like, yo, Narbash skin, yo, steel skin, coming next patch, awesome. They just skimmed it. It's just
they just scrolled through the pop-up book and that's what they got.
Straight up.
So no, and that's the thing is they and it wasn't consistent. It wasn't like, all right, here's all the stuff that's coming patch 13, and here's a little post patch 13 at the bottom, right? It was in the middle. Like you'd read something and like, hey, this is post 13, and then you continue on. This is what's coming in the HUD, and then you the next week, all right, here's something. Oh, this is post 13, and then it's like, oh, post 13, HUD. It was all like you never knew where it was going to be in the update, but there'd be something in there post 13.
And I'll be honest, as much as April 1st was funny with hops, too many people got confused with that shit.
You
So
know how
like
you-
that was
you-
obvious. I'm sorry.
Bro.
Come on.
Ed fell for it, bro. Dude, we got a clip of Ed where
Yeah.
Ed is like, dude, please tell me they're not adding this. Please tell
That's
me
why
they're
his
not.
name is
And then
Stop
he
Working on Hops.
and then he looks at chat. He's like, oh my god, it's not real. Oh, fucking idiot.
We have a meme. We had a meme in the tester section, right? That if you got all five buffs and you ran and suicided in the enemy core, you became hops when you respawned.
Bro, I'm gonna try it. I'm trying it.
I I knew it was an April Fool's thing just because obviously the date came out.
Look at the picture.
The picture's just all
Conker's
right.
Bad Fur Day picture. Come on.
Those are awesome.
Ooh, what? Where?
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Look, I'm saying,
I
look
don't know.
at the
Super old
hops.
game.
Like the picture of hops is like N64 Conker's Bad Fur Day style, artistically. Come on.
So I agree that, like, for example, me reading it, I was like, okay, that's the April Fool's part. Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
We couldn't do Ular
the
again.
Abilities,
Right.
The abilities were like you read
I
them.
will-
It's like that could be a thing.
I
That's
will
'cause-
say, I think
Big brain.
big brain. I think that hops, like, I do think that, you know, some people fell for it, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
But
whatever.
I think that it opened up the door for the conversation of heroes even more, because I've seen that
Mhm.
conversation be touched
Yep.
on even more. I had to tell somebody over voice chat. They joined the Discord channel, and I had to tell them that Ular was not coming to the game, that Hops was not coming to the game, that those are just kind of trolls that they threw out there. And then they were like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, bro. Well, then why would they post them? I was like, they were just messing around.
We're
bro.
all about community. We like to have fun with you
It wa-
guys.
That's about all I can tell you.
It was April 1st. Like, if you ever check any of our socials, we're very, very active and very like community focused.
Was Ular an April 1st thing though?
Yeah.
It was April
He was-
1st. I didn't know.
he came out-
I remember the
The
picture. being
teaser
posted. I
came
don't know
out
what
on
day it
April
was.
1st. All right.
Okay.
The little teaser that we made came out on April 1st. Now, I can't speak to whether or not Ular is randomly being made behind the scenes. I don't know.
Ooh,
all right.
confirm nor deny.
But what I will tell you is that for some certain people in Gen Chat, I'm 95% sure that Ular was an April Fool's joke.
I mean that.
We're talking to you,
Pappy. We're talking to you, Pappy.
I love you.
Yeah, much love, much love.
I
mean,
hope you
who-
make the character.
Yeah, who knows? But let me shift gears here real quick. Did you guys notice that on the ping system, shit was switched around a little bit?
Yeah, it's because we added new pings, so the map had to get changed.
Got it. I was wondering because
Oh.
I literally went to be like, I was like, all right, enemy missing right, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
don't
no, you-
retreat.
yeah,
Wait,
you-
wait, don't retreat. Wait.
Yeah. So I don't mean to cut you off, Cooch. But
You're good.
just one thing, like I would say about that, I had a problem with it when I first started testing the patch. I was just like, I kept trying to hit like be right back, and it wasn't be right back or like ultimate ready. I just kept fucking it up, right?
Yep.
But now that I've played a whole bunch of games on it, it's kind of just there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
it becomes
I
second
feel like it's
nature.
another one of those things like muscle memory just got to get adapted to. But it was definitely very confusing when I first loaded it, and I was just like, where are my pings?
From a switching standpoint, it can be overwhelming, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I like what I was used to. From a new player standpoint, very easy to follow. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I recognize the pictures or I know the words because it fucking says, all right, alerts. Okay, I should probably let somebody know. Got it. Let me go that way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I like it. It's the onboarding of previous players that I definitely see
Yeah.
myself struggling a little bit.
From a Bedrock standpoint, what's the ping system?
True. True.
Have you ever-
That's called lag.
I want to let you know, Cooch. All right, from a plat player to a bedrock player. Okay, sir. There are other buttons on the keyboard which say WASD,
WASD.
and Q. So you should test those out sometimes.
There's no WASD on this.
Oh right, you're using the
he's
fancy
one of
boy.
those. Yikes.
There's no WASD.
Anybody ever watch VGHS? He's one of them guys, bro.
Did you say
Yikes.
VHS? I have one of those.
VGHS. Oh my
I
God,
have a
Boomer, get
VHS.
out.
Yikes. Now, let's talk about the ELO, the MMR, because I was actually interested that it was a soft ELO reset. And then they made a post about showing the current curve ladder, which naturally in most MOBAs towards the ends, it starts thinning out. But interestingly enough, whenever I saw this curve that they posted, when they were like, hey, this is what it currently is like, I was like, I could totally see that.
That's a sine wave.
100%. It was really upsetting.
Sine wave, 100%. I could totally see that because it was a huge group of new players, not many in between, and then we got the hardcore players that play every fucking day.
Yep, that's what it was.
Like, it was either you drop low enough to have a new player on your team, or it's like, hey, there goes Cranky, there goes Blub, there goes Plato. What's up, guys? So
exactly.
I do find it, I'm curious as to how they're going to adjust this.
Well, so the way that we did it for the second update that came out this week, that was, everyone got full reset to placements, and the big thought process behind that is that those guys who belong in Masters, who didn't like just 5-stack their way there and like abuse new players to get there, they're gonna climb fast to get back there no matter what. But those guys who are in the bronze and the lower elos that technically should deserve to be up in the silvers, the golds, and maybe even the plats, but they just having bad breaks, this should help them do that, help them climb, and that should gradually make the normal curve that you see among the players that are playing.
I like that it gives me like another, like, you know, more of a reason to play. You know what I mean? Because like for me, master grind, I'm not about it. You know what I mean? I'm like, whatever. I'm just playing. But I'll be honest, as soon as I see it says iron on there, I'm like, bruh, I gotta at least play a little bit. You know, we gotta at least make it back to like gold plat, and they're like, you know what? Then I can stop fucking caring. No, man, then I'm okay. Yeah.
I like the fact that they're doing this now, but I don't see it fixing itself yet. And I think we're gonna have to do another reset when for the full release, because I think it's gonna be something similar to, maybe it's that bottom one that you see below me right now. That one, that what they want, I don't see the one happening until after full release. The other one, not as bad, maybe. Or not yet. You know, I don't.
I expected it to go kind of close to the first one, but a little bit more of a glut in the middle. Like a little bit more of the middle is going to go up and make that hill, but it's going to start at a higher position. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that the upper line here, which is, you know, the current previous, or the previous, before the reset, do you think that has to do with the fact that the onboarding in the game is so difficult? The fact that there's so many new players that get stuck in that bottom half of the ladder? I think if it's that, I think like, because we don't have bot matches and stuff, people just have to play against regular players, and you never know what's going to happen there. You know what I mean? And then, like, besides that, obviously community toxicity problems, which we are trying very hard to clean up. But
now this takes in effect active and inactive accounts, correct?
Yeah.
So for all those people, you know, Windu's brother that just quit playing,
they're all in play. Everybody's in placements, no matter what.
Down on this side.
No matter where you were, if you have an account that has at least played one game, to have a ELO assigned to your account, you're in placements.
So that's going to skew that as well.
It's going to skew that as well. However, we can definitely change the parameters when we make the next graph and be like, these accounts aren't active. Don't count those. You know what I mean? Like these guys have less than 10 hours in playtime since patch 13. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yep. All right.
But I was surprised to see that graph, though, personally. Like I figured it was something like that, but it was like, wow, that was way worse than I thought it was.
I was just surprised that they came forth with that information, because they've been very hush hush about matchmaking details, like how the matchmaking is, what the current matchmaking looks like. Like whenever you look at that graph, and if I told you, hey, you're gold and you have a long queue time, it's going to make sense.
Yeah,
because you're right in that middle zone before.
Yeah, so like it's also like pretty big. I think a lot of us, as far as Discord moderators, have been kind of saying this for like a while, being like, listen, we have a lot of players in the top end, we have a lot of players in the low end, that there's a reason why you're getting matched up against Masters players. We had to widen it so that people could get matches, because your middle end weren't getting matches either. So we had to compromise somewhere, right? And like this just puts a picture in your head saying, oh, okay, well, maybe we should get to gold then. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I get it. It's just, for example, now since it's been reset, right? Now everybody's getting, partied up with all sorts of people, etc.
Yep.
And I've had my fair share of new players. Never played a carry before in my life, but he's my carry.
Yep.
Whatever, it happens, right? But I can definitely see that without proper onboarding, like the store helps a ton, a million times. Like that, the new store should at least, like you said, help raise that dip a little bit, at least. But I don't think we're gonna get a bunch of middle people, like as far as the bottom graph, until onboarding is proper.
Yeah, I mean, onboarding is definitely a big focus, especially like probably like I personally, I would want it in before the new map comes out, or at the same time the new map comes out, like the same update. I'd want that at the same time.
I could see that. But that'd be another huge update. That'd be like 14.
I mean, the map update is going to be huge anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like the map's just going to be giant. So if you have it done, then you might as well slide it in there too.
Throw that in there.
Because that, like, to me, that's the new map's going to draw the most new eyes to the game. Like the HUD was good. It brought a lot of returning players back. It didn't draw a whole bunch of new players back. Now there's obviously marketing plans going in now that the HUD's going, and we're getting the like bugs ironed out and stuff like that. But that map is what I think is going to be the large crux that's going to bring players in, because then we can really push the marketing for the game. Like this map is set. This is the map that we're staying on, XYZ, at least for a little bit, and boom, you know what I mean?
So yeah, I mean, I get you. Like it definitely would be huge if they include that. I don't know if they're going to as a workload, you know what I mean? But I definitely hope at least before they do some sort of attempt, even a little bit. They don't have to do like full onboard, right? Like even just being on a map by yourself with a tutorial. It's like, hey, this is what you do, etc. Even if, because AI is a little bit trickier.
1v0.
Yeah, like AI is trickier, but even a 1v0 where you understand these are the objectives. 10 minutes in, it'll be like, hey, we also recommend grabbing these. Which, speaking of, I like the shrines. I like them. There's more to do. More fights.
Oh, yeah. It definitely adds more to it.
A little too strong, but I like them.
But balance.
It's right now, if you control the shrines, you win the game. That's
100%.
That's how it goes. And
I will tell you this.
More important
shrines
than
are more impactful than way more impactful than Raptors right now.
Yep.
I had my first placement game. I was playing Grim Carry. I had a random I think it was like a Richter support. The duo never came to contest me for gold buff, not once. I didn't see a single person. I had 5 gold buffs. There was at one point where
massive.
Yeah. Oh, I was fat. Yeah. There was one point where I was able to I kind of ran it down at them. They killed me, refreshed the duration of the buff, reset my bounty, and then I killed them, took the buff back, and had a good minute and 30 of just straight buff because I had another buff coming. And it was just like, I just got gold. Like it's so important, and it sucks that we can't stress it to new players yet, right? I really want that onboarding to come out, because they are right now the most important objective.
Yeah.
Like they snowball you enough to be super important, and then it's just towers and then prime.
Yeah, no, they are very strong. definitely foresee them in the next update, being, they're going to be in the balance
Slightly
pass
tuned.
definitely need to be tuned.
I one thing I will say though, I enjoy how long it takes to take them early. I think that's huge.
The fact that it takes a while to take them. I also enjoy the fact that their health doesn't regenerate. You can basically go work on it, go back to your lane, clear the minions that you got pushed, and then go back to it as long as, the other, lane, the opposing lane didn't go get it, So it's something that's nice as well. Or you can start it and then like a team fight happens and you get the team fight and then you go back and finish it, as long as you survived. So I like that as well.
Yeah. It's also like, it just promotes so much more like healthy fighting, right? So much more healthy grouping. It's much less just like death ball in one lane. You're actually based around an objective 95% of the time now.
Everybody's got their own little zone to fight over.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
But it also, I guess, let's play devil's advocate with that, it also broods toxicity because you have that person that's like, hey, help me with the buff, and then they take it. And then it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I obviously need that more than you. Why are you taking it?
I mean, in that situation, that's frame of mind, right? Like, if they took it, oh well.
No, I'm not the one being toxic.
No, I know.
I'm just letting you know that this is what's gonna happen. Like,
I know. I have been on the receiving end of the fair share of that. Like, I'll be autoing it. Like, I'll be in mid swing, and the Murdock decides to queue his gold buff, and not wait for my swing. So my swing hits it, and I take it, and I'm just like, I'll go get my 50 gold per jungle minion though. So I'll just get fat now. I'm the carry. Thank you, support.
I am the carry now.
I'm the carry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said that I haven't, at least to myself, been sitting there and be like, this fucking Gideon just took my gold buff.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, their emotions are just like, come on, man.
Like, I'll sit there and be like,
all
right, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm hitting it the second time, and I see him come by. I'm like, this bitch better not take my gold buff again. Swear to God, we're gonna have problems. He's like, okay, you let me have it. All right, bet. We're cool. He's chill.
There's one thing I do want to say though, as far as shrines wise, gameplay perspective, just for our listeners. That mana regen on auto attack and small health is not that important, but the mana regen is huge. So if like you see a Gideon just autoing your shrine, let him auto it. He might not take the whole thing. You know what I mean? Because like I've had plenty of Gideons roll up and be like 0 mana, and I'm like, hit the thing, and then all of a sudden they can roll in my lane and contest it right after hitting the shrine. So that the mana regen is not to be like downplayed at all.
To be honest with you, I didn't even know until what was it, Wednesday after Kuja's Custom Tuesdays that you actually get health and stuff off of that, the mana regen. I'm like, oh really? I'm like, oh, that's okay.
I saw my jungler healing off of my shrine, and I was because it was a Countess, right? So it was like even a little bit more, and he was like, oh, I'm getting healed just by basic attacks. And I'm like, you damn sure are. Okay. You damn sure are. Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys think that these shrines, like, balance out the door, right? Do you guys think that these shrines are a good addition overall?
Oh, yes.
100%. 100%. One major complaint that like I've come across from like really avid players of the game, our junglers, is that there's not a lot to do in the jungle, and you're forced to be in the lanes a lot, and that's helped contribute to your death ball feel, right? Because you also you're just camping this lane constantly. You're there every time the enemy shows up because you don't have anything to do. There's no consequences. Well, there's now you have routes that you have opened up all over the map that you can like really plan out as a jungler. And junglers in general, like as far as like players of the game, really like to have routes that they can plan. Like I'm playing Richter, I have a specific route that I get to do that I know is going to get me level 4 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, rotations
so I think
around
they're
those buffs
huge.
are big.
Yeah, I think they're huge and great additions, and I can't wait to see what they do on the bigger map.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I kind of want to see where these fighting areas are gonna look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because currently it's just, hey man, solo lane, past the fog wall, it's right there, bro. Right there.
Yep.
Duo lane, hey man, you gotta go like around the corner, but it's right there. You feel me?
Yep.
One tip: you can queue the shrine through the wall as Murdock.
Yep.
Remember that.
But you can queue anybody through a
Yeah, you can queue anybody through a wall
as
through the wall with the Murdock. But I'm just saying, I've stolen plenty of gold buffs with that queue.
Bro, I had a sparrow snipe it from the
that's
fog wall.
Bad feeling, bro.
Honestly, I was just like, he deserves it.
Yeah, you can have it, bro.
I did all the
I'm not
damn
even
work,
mad.
and then just clink.
We
GG.
did that in the
That's some
showcase.
good shit.
I was the support for a Sparrow that did that in and he just like, I think it was Jake Sim actually who did it.
One question: do you think wards should show shrines health bars so you can see vision and more properly steal if you have it, if you have vision control?
I think a ward should tell me if the shrine spawned. I don't know about the health bar, because having a low health bar, sometimes that's key. You walk around and be like, oh shit, it's one hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I don't have the timer myself, and I know this man just grabbed the buff because I can see it on him.
Oh, the ward should 100% give you timers.
The ward is there, but it still says that the buff is there. I have to actually show up within like 6 feet for that shrine to randomly be like, oh, here's an updated timer. So
yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. The reason I was asking was because like I feel like if wards were to give shrine health, that would add a large like addition to the ward gameplay of supports, which might make that role also feel more impactful. If you're not like, because you generally you want to be aggressive as a support in most cases, and when you're playing the aggressive support and you do it right, you're rewarded greatly. But when you're not, when you can't be aggressive, you feel like there's nothing to do that you can do. So like I feel like just that ward mini game is just like would probably add just a lot to that, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's interesting. I don't think that the concept of warding is too popular yet in the game as it should be. You know what I mean? Especially towards the lower side.
I played jungle a couple of times in these placements. I know. I don't pack Rad Pulse right now. There's no need.
No, it's just like I don't think they're warding. Yep, they're not backing up. Let me just cross right on through.
Oh, that's a dead TB, huh?
Yeah, like this Morgus has no idea I'm right behind her, bro. Yikes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But
hey, that's what happens.
You were gonna say something, Cooch?
Yeah, the timer, showing the timer on it or the health on it. I just imagine if you could do that, like you could get your jungler to go around and get them all low health, and then you as a Murdock can go from the duo lane and snipe across map and get all 4 of them.
I'm down. Wait, what?
Bro.
That doesn't sound like a bad option. Wait a minute.
I'll be real with you. Imagine a 5 stack and you coordinate it with your entire
set me with that up?
Right at 3 minutes. I'll be real with you. You might only get one of the blue buffs or one of the blue shrines in the middle. But
you're not gonna have laser at 3 minutes, Windu.
Hey, you don't know my life.
I do know your life. I know how much XP it takes to get to level 6.
Here's the ultimate comeback. The enemy team that's winning, they're on Prime. Your team goes to Raptor, and you step across. You get
all
the buffs. You get Raptor, and you get Prime, all in the right timing snipe.
That's just a flex of that situation.
Right? Flip that 100%.
Yeah.
That's that. No longer do I care that that's cool. I just think you're trying to flex on someone.
Testers mount up.
So before we talk about some of the changes that they did to some of the characters, because I do want to talk about those. Some of those are substantial.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the steel skin? The steel mastery that they showed.
I think it looks way better than Narbash. Personally, I didn't like the Narbash skin that much.
So I like them. It's not obvious. I'm a huge blue fan, but that red and white. Oh my gosh,
dude! I'll be real.
Red and white.
I think Master looks better, but I'm very curious as to why they took this approach towards all the tiers, specifically on silver, because it's almost like Steel has tattoos all over, and that's what changes the color. His armor is still black. Like Steel's probably one of the easier ones where he probably could have had the gold armor, the diamond armor, and then put like some black tattoo design on it or whatever. Like vice versa.
I think
I wonder why
in
they
my
went that way.
in my personal opinion, it's like your tier 1, your tier 2, and your tier 3. Like those are okay accomplishments, but they shouldn't like change the overall aesthetic of your character, in my opinion. Like you have your detail color changes. That's fine. I can still tell at a glance that, hey, this man's a diamond steel, right? But then once you get to master, then that's where your aesthetic changes, and I think that's fine. I don't want to have I already have Aegis steel. I don't need to have semi Aegis steel. Right? I think that detail color is better.
Is it me, or is that kind of giving you vibes on steel? On that master skin?
Pennywise steel?
Yeah. That's a Pennywise steel all day, bro. Except he just got one fucking red mohawk in his forehead.
Now instead of the shoulder pads, I needed to be the ruffles.
Oh, bro, that would they could do it.
And when he ults, you just hear a balloon pop.
I can't.
No, but that's how he jumps. He's got a balloon that pulls him up, and then he comes down.
Y'all are too much, bro. But I will say, I get what you're saying. Stage 1, honestly, as long as you technically start the path, you'll have the stage 1, whatever.
Exactly.
Nothing too crazy. Stage 2 is like, he did it a little bit. Okay, I see it. I was just thinking more along the lines of, whenever it comes down to these skins, a big part of them is just to show off, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very curious as to why they decided to choose more of the, hey, we're going to make the highlights change color instead of making a major piece change color. Because whenever you're in the middle of a fight, whenever you're trying to show off your skin to your carry, you want it to be like, bam, check it out, I got a diamond skin. Like, and again, it's not even changing the actual design, it's just what colors to put where. You feel me?
I think it's because of, especially if we're looking here, like, let's just swap the blue and the black, right? For the diamond. And I think that's just too much. I think that it looks cleaner here.
But it would look just like every other steel skin, but shiny. You feel me? But gold, like when we got, let's say the blue steel, his armor is blue. I don't even remember what fucking color his skin is, but he's got blue armor all over, right? We have a steel with orange armor. We have a steel, like, do you feel me? Typically the armor changes, but whenever you show up with gold armor, diamond armor, that's another type of flex. But instead, it's just black armor with a paintbrush.
Again, I want to see it in game. You know what I mean? Because like if that shit's like super popping in game, then I have zero complaints. You know what I mean? If it's just like an afterthought when you look at the skin, then it's like, all right.
It could have to do with contrast too, because like one of the reasons why that master looks so dope is because of the heavy contrast between the white and the bright red. You feel me?
I don't know. Talking about mastery, I actually want to bring this up. Did anybody was watching Gen Chat yesterday or was in Gen Chat yesterday? I know a lot of people don't camp there. But Uzi actually had some stuff that he wanted to say about the mastery system because he was asked. And he said like no, but I have it up right now.
Okay.
Said, yeah, we're planning on having having it as a challenge to grind towards the mastery skin. Because someone was asking, would it be like XP based or like maybe challenges with the hero based? That way, like it's not just game time. You actually had to do something more to earn the master skin. Okay. And he was saying something along the lines like, yeah, like that's something that they are definitely looking towards, which I think is awesome because that just shows like even more than just I've played Steel a lot. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's actually I have mastered the character, so I think that's
the definition of mastery, and put it into it. Makes sense.
You imagine like they start. How would you guys feel about actually putting challenges in there in order to reach those tiers? Like you have to ult and stun somebody within 2 seconds of ulting.
So we're looking at
which is relatively easy to do.
A lot like Call of Duty idea of like how you're trying to upgrade your weapons. Like you all right to get this, to unlock this, whatever you need.
To a certain extent, but
right.
Yeah. Like I
wouldn't be against it.
I think that'd be fucking great. honestly.
Yeah, I'm not against either. I'm just using that as an example for the viewers to understand what we're talking about there.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys actually think it'll be better though? Because when you consider it, isn't time played probably better for the game at this early stage, or in general while the game is growing?
Yeah, but I also think that time played is better as far as numbers, right? But I don't think it's better as far as feel. Like I personally, I personally don't want to when Master System goes live. If it's just XP based, I know I have Mastery Murdock, right?
Okay.
But if it's challenge based, I still have something I can look forward to. Like, okay, I really want this mastery skin, so I got to look for opportunities to do these challenges in my games. Like,
Land
let's say
X
like
amount of snipes, or push into your trap and stun people X amount of times.
Exactly.
Or like about stage 1, 2, and 3 being XP based, like you get that, and then but to unlock 4, that's the one that you have to.
That's what I want. I want time played to be your recolor, right? Your accent color. Yeah. And then your master skin is actually you playing the character and like really learning as much about the character as we can get you to learn. And then all of a sudden now you're just like, I have a master skin and it means something to other players, right? It's not just like I have 400 games on Richter, so I have the mastery skin, but I'm bad at Richter, right? Because that just drops the value of the master skin in my eyes.
It would actually show value. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It would actually show the worth of, hey, he's got a mastery skin. He must be pretty damn good.
Yeah,
or he must at least know what he's doing. At least.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't know if people would like that. Actually, quite frankly, I feel like a lot of people might actually side with you more for all of them to be challenge based, because not everybody has the time to throw in 400 games with a steel and get the steel mastery. Well, like somebody might be hunting for steel mastery and legit be like, yep, it's been a year and a half, I still don't got it because I play 1 day a week. What
if mastery skin, right? What if it's XP based all around the board, right? But mastery skin is a large amount of XP, but your challenges give you a percentage of that XP. You know what I mean? So like you can get it by putting a whole bunch of games in as steel, like a whole bunch if you want to, or you can do these challenges
and you get
that
boosts.
We have, and you get okay, like one challenge is like 15% of the XP. You know what I mean? That way, if you're already really good at the character, you don't need to play a crap ton of games to do it. You just get this. You just do the challenges real quick, get your mastery skin, and show off.
Okay,
that'd be cool.
Back to the colors though before we move on.
Yeah.
I was looking at that. Like I look at that the gold, the silver, and the diamond. Not so much the silver because like that's the one. The one with steel. Basic. That silver. It literally it blends. Like there's no. It doesn't stand out. Yeah. At least with Narbash, it stood out. You know, that one, it kind of blends in, so that I think that needs to be maybe possibly reworked. I don't know. Obviously, I don't think this is like.
Well, in Narbash, it was shiny silver. Here, it definitely looks more towards the matte.
Yeah, I think that's probably the picture. You know what I mean?
But what I like about that, let's say the diamond one, you know, when you go to a car show and you see a car with a ghost flame job, you know, you're not sitting there, you're not looking at that car like, oh, look at the base color of this car. You're like, you're looking at that ghost flame like, oh man, this is a nice looking, you know, situation. And I think that's kind of what we're looking at here with this diamond. That little blue accent is what stands out with that situation.
Yeah, it actually looks like the facets in a diamond, so it's actually like kind of sick looking. Yeah,
I could see it. I think that line on like the ghetto avatar sign on his forehead is probably going to be the biggest indicator of the skin.
100%.
Because the rest are kind of highlights, or maybe honestly, because you look at his gauntlet. His gauntlet looks like a good chunk of it's going to be that color.
Yeah.
So maybe while you're swinging, you know, like your basics around or just walking around, you'll be able to see the gauntlet on the outside and the inside.
What about his shield?
That's a good point.
We don't see the shield.
It's very possible that the shield will just straight come out in that color.
I think it'd be, I don't know if they can. I don't know 100%, but I think it'd be cool if they could like change the color of the throwable shield that shield to be like the color of the skin. You know what I mean?
Gold,
Like
diamond,
silver, diamond, or then you got the master. You just got this big lava fucking shield.
That would
That's
be
kind of
dope.
cool looking. Yeah, I mean, again,
How to differentiate
color, I
between
don't know how that
teams,
works.
though, you never know. You feel me? 'Cause there
Exactly.
still has to be
And that's a
differentiation.
lot harder. Like once you start thinking about it. So like, I don't know, but it'd be kind of cool. Just a thought.
Pretty cool little thing to throw in. But then how to add that flair onto others.
Oh, or wait, what if the shield doesn't change color, but the fault logo in the shield changes color? That way, the shield is still the semi-opaque. I agree.
I would care less because when the shield is down, I'm not looking at the shield. I don't think anybody is. They're just looking at a corner of the shield that's right in front of them, and they're like,
yeah.
Just fucking walk
I'm
through,
getting through this shield. I'm getting my last hit.
Yeah.
It would be a good addition though for the Twitch viewers.
True.
I am curious, did they show the arguably two of the biggest characters because it's easier to kind of show off the skin? Like, why Narbash, why Steel? Or are they just showing us quote unquote supports right now?
Because they're little billboards.
I think they're just like picking heroes. I don't think there's like a large method to the Master Skin Madness. I think it's just,
was that a pun?
Pling, kind of
a large method.
I just think it's like, okay, well, who do we want to show this week? Steel, whatever. You know what I mean?
I could see it.
If Richter's next, we know it's the big guys.
Yeah, if Richter's next, then it's Thickums first.
Thickums first. I can't. Yo, now. Let's talk about some of these changes on the characters, bro. Because holy shit, some of these characters are borderline broken, bro. Like we'll try to skim through them, but Boris, yikes.
Okay.
Okay, so he's always been a menace, right? Like he's always had potential, and it's not about that. It's not about getting fed, being strong, etc. Like there's zero reason why I should have like one mid-tier item and boots and I can 1v4.
He's busted. But something I do want to say is that what canonically is going on in my head is that I don't think his passive ever fully worked, and we just never knew, never realized, no one ever paid attention enough, or whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? Like no one in the community found it until we were like, wait a minute, that's not actually working. So we buffed him because he was
not working
like
properly.
Shit, right? And now all of a sudden he's working properly, and those buffs now look like, oh no, we made a mistake, right?
It's huge.
Like he might have actually been 100% balanced when he first came out, but we don't know because maybe his passive never worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
So
he's something else, man.
I'm gonna be the asshole here and ask the tester from the community, how was this not seen in testing?
Because the incremental damage on how much damage you do, Boris still does a large amount of burst damage when he gets on top of you. He still gets 3 autos with 1 ability, right? And that bonus percentage of damage is very hard to find and like correctly analyze. Like when your passive thing wasn't up in your face. Cause remember the old HUD that your passive was off on the right. And off to the left and stuff, and we would upgrade, but it wouldn't actually upgrade the percentage chance. You wouldn't really. It was just hard to find. It was just like, I'm playing the hero. The hero feels bad. I think this is why. Test. His RMB's not doing enough damage.
No. So what I'm asking is, you guys tested patch 13, and you know.
Oh yeah.
You guys why is he released this busted? Is what I'm saying. You guys did we not see? All right, we knew we're testing him because his now passive works, right? Were we not like, okay, let's go in. We're gonna run some games with Boris. Hold up, guys. He's like OP right now. We need to make adjustments before patch 13 comes out.
He has been very large throughout testing, right? Us in testing have kind of formulated around, if there's a Boris on the enemy team, we generally pick CC, right? But you also got to think a lot of our testers are your higher tier players, and in those matches, Boris isn't as busted as what your guys are going to deal with in pubs, right? So even some of us pubs were like, okay, this is a little strong, but like we can adapt to it, right? But right now, I think he's just a pub stomping menace. And in upper elo games, he's still like good, but he's still an item dependent hero in the long run. So
Same as Kalari when we get. Yeah. I mean, we'll get to her. Yeah. But I think Kalari's in the same situation against people 100%. That don't know how to handle her. Yo, she'll run the whole lobby. As soon as somebody knows how to sentry ward and rad pulse, that Kalari ain't shit.
Yeah,
mad simple.
So like, it's and we did have conversation about Boris balance right before we pushed the patch. Right, we were like, is this too strong? 100%. You know what I mean? Because like, there were games where it was Boris was taking over the games, but then there were also games where Boris didn't matter. So
that's the hard
we were
part,
trying to gauge. Exactly. We were trying to find to be like, okay, so is this actually busted? But you guys got so many more games played than like even in the first day. You guys probably collectively as a community played more than we did in testing because you guys probably played 300, 400 games as a collective community in one day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we got to see, okay, yeah, Boris has been weights creeping up. We're gonna nerf it. You know what I mean?
So what I'm understanding from this is we need some more bedrock testers.
I mean, sure. Cooch, listen. You're going to be in the tester Discord eventually, sir.
Eventually. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. No, I mean, and that's the way I see it. I'm just I'm okay with it. Is he OP? Yeah. Does he need to get fixed? Yes, 100% agree. But I love patch 13, so the fact that he came out OP doesn't bother me. I just know there's people in the community that are like, ooh, how did this get passed?
Oh, 100%. And so like that's
I
like
to give you this platform to explain.
That's 100% my PSA, right? Like we play a lot of testing games, especially on this patch. We played a lot, and we communicated about balance and stuff like that. But there's also a whole crap ton of bugs that we came across that have been fixed before you guys even seen the build, right? Like even up to the day before showcase, we had 3 patches that day of just fixing bugs that we had encountered in testing, right? And so the main focus of testing on this update was 100% bugs and getting this update out and ready and be good for you guys. If Boris balance stuff, we thought about it. We talked about it. We said we're not 100%, but most likely needs nerfed. However, we want you guys to get in the community's hands, play a whole bunch of games, see if you guys adapt anything that maybe we didn't think about, or maybe you guys catch on and do the same thing that we did. Either way, like buying Jar, kind of good against him, stuff like that. So it's just he after all you guys got your games in. We see, nerf. I can almost guarantee you on that patch he's going to be nerfed. Same thing with the Countess bug that's going around right now. That's going to be out as soon as the patch comes out.
Yep. And this is a good time to say, like, this is really us as early access players. This is perfect for us. This is our testing. This is what we're able to do. Yep. We're able to help put the data points out there so that they can see this. Like, okay, you're right. Because the testers can only do so much. But we can sit here, we can play these games all day, and like, okay, now these data points are out there.
Yeah, like we're a collective hive mind of people that are testing and playing the game, but that doesn't automatically mean that our feedback is the only thing that matters. Like, what if we had released Boris nerfed to the ground and he still wasn't played, right?
Right.
Like it's way better as a general thought process, and it's easier also on the devs and players to nerf something than buff something. If you over buff something, it's very hard to like come back from that and like pinpoint exactly what was wrong, right? Whereas I guess what I'm trying to say is like if when stuff is over buffed, it's easier to nerf, but when you're going from down to up, it's way too easy to over buff them.
Yeah.
It's easy to go, okay, down percentages, see how that feels. Up percentages, oh no, crap, 0.5% was too much. Like,
yeah.
So speaking of going up, going down, now that you guys got a few games in, how do you feel about the tower healths getting adjusted?
I am fine. I've had 45-minute matches a whole bunch. I don't like them, but I like the towers.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Realistically, they feel pretty fucking similar to each other. I don't necessarily feel that the inhib is way stronger than T2.
No.
Because realistically, from T1 to T2 now is a 400 HP difference. 400 HP is
and
low
a little
key,
bit
just
armor.
like, and well, okay, so yeah, the armor too, but regardless, it what, like an extra hit or two, like it just honestly feels like I have three towers that are borderline identical, maybe a little bit of a difference. Now, I don't necessarily think it's a bad change because I haven't sat there and be like, oh no, yeah, this tower is way too weak, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think it's bad. Like the games are running smooth, towers go down pretty normal, you know?
Yeah. I think my personal opinion is that they need a little bit more armor as it goes up. Just a little bit, not a lot. Health is fine. I think the health is fine, but I think damage mitigation up a little bit, small percentage. But I think these are way more in line to what towers should be in a MOBA. Like you as two people should not be the line of defense for your inhibitor unless you can outplay the living crap out of the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
Before, two people, you have a Gideon and a carry, and you could hardly siege unless you dive and like just take that risk.
Right. Wave clear. Amen. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. So I think now like they feel better as far as a gameplay perspective, and I think they are very close to being 100%. Because one thing to think about is our old inhibitors, right? They had a fuck ton of health, like too much.
Yeah.
I would almost dare say
like 3 times.
I want to say that the inhibitor was at least like 5k health. That's I think. I don't know like 100% numbers. Yeah, it was a lot.
Numbers are in here.
I got it here. It was 63.
Yeah, it's a lot. And they also have armor. So like you were sieging that forever. Like even if you have Prime, there wasn't 100% guarantee you're taking that inhibitor even if you get one pick. Now you get a pick and you're like, I'm taking this inhibitor whether you like it or not.
That's true. Yeah. Even with Prime before, you low-key needed a second wave with Prime sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real with you. We're not that fed. It's only this is a 20-minute Prime. We might slap it a little bit, but
I'm getting half an inhibitor for this whole Prime, but I got it back. Like,
yeah, it's rough.
Like there's definitely skill disparity with these towers now. So I understand the community is like really torn between the tower health change. But one thing I just want to say is just like we're not going to knee-jerk reaction just switch this back, because you guys have to play on it a whole bunch before like your muscle memory and your mental changes to the MOBA experience that it should be.
I disagree. SMS has already done it once. The speed boost off a base. They knee-jerk switch that back. That was all right.
That was different.
No, that was broken though.
That was
I will
different.
say that one was
I'm
broken.
Just saying, it's something they put into the game. And like,
I said this change is not going to be a knee-jerk reaction. Change back. This change feels good and maybe needs a little bit of a buff. We will see. But
I don't know, because I'm like I said, again, I joke about it, but I'm also honest about it. Like I'm not that great of a player. I'm a Bedrock player. You know, I get it. But from what I'm seeing, and I've watched some games, I've seen people that like you don't even need Prime, like because of these towers are their healths are so low now. Like you can basically just zoom through it yourself.
You shouldn't need Prime. No.
But so then let's just get rid of Prime in the whole game. Let's not have it at all.
No.
That's a team objective. Like there's no point. Like if that's the way it is, then just fill that spot on the map in with I don't care, a camp.
So here's the thing. In a MOBA, you don't necessarily need an objective to take an inhibitor, right? It's just the objective enhances your ability to do so. But yes, theoretically, if we have a 5v5 right at the inhib without Prime, and we win that team fight, and there's 2-3 people left, they're probably going to take that inhib because everybody's dead.
They should 150% take that inhib, and before they 50% of the time would not.
They'd have to back. So I will say, I saw, kid you not, a Muriel with like boots and bot D take an inhib by split pushing. But it was literally because nobody went and fucking, you know, actually handled her.
Dealt with her.
And she literally just had 2 waves of just minions and her just...
Boop. Yep.
Which realistically, that means that Muriel was sitting there smacking that tower for a good 30, 35 seconds, probably. Somebody
and probably longer than that. Probably like a minute because her auto attacks are pretty slow.
Somebody could have easily handled her. But again, split pushing should be a thing. Before, I will say split, dude, before, unless you're Greystone and you wasted your ultimate under tower, and even then you might be like, damn, that inhib still has a little bit of health left.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a change, because I agree with you. Before this, it was almost impossible to do stuff like that. And you're like, yes, I agree. 3 different sieges you'd have to do to get to it. I don't agree with the fact that you being able to, you know, 2 people just go tower dive and you don't need the minion waves. You just go do it yourself and take care. You know, like that's some of the stuff that's happening, and then that's too much in my opinion.
Well, that is different. That is backdoor protection percentage.
Yeah, and tower damage, because you got to be mindful.
What?
Backdoor protection, which is when you have no minions,
you shouldn't be able to just
tower.
Take a
your
tower.
Tower is tankier because you have no minions under it. That's what every tower has.
It prevents backdooring.
Yeah, and so you can't. It helps prevent what you're talking about. So if that backdoor percentage needs to be buffed, that's different. That might be low because they were such high health beforehand.
Okay. And then that's fine if that's what it is. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, that shouldn't happen. I believe that's what is happening now, and that's where. So if that's the percentage that needs to come up, you can keep the health low. You know, because honestly, before this, I didn't even know that there was a difference between the tower health and tower armor. I didn't know that was. I thought literally the health. Hey, this is my health, and it counts as my armor as well.
So for you, Cooch, something to know. So your penetration also does count on your tower. So like items like Gunblade help you take towers faster early game. Gunblade will actually shred a tower. As a carry. If I'm TB and I grab Gunblade, like I'm taking that tower probably the second time you back in lane. Easy.
And I think another reason why I didn't really know any of that information, because I'm a support main and there's not much penetration.
You don't need to do pen. You just kind of sit there and hit it a little bit, and your carry does all the work.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't. I mean, I just thought that I look at that bar on the top to let me know when that's going down. Like, all right, a couple more hits, we got this. You know, it didn't nothing about the penetration, but it's also backdoor protection percentage, something new I've learned now. That, I mean, if that's what it is, if that's all it needs to be increased, I'm okay with the change. Even when I first saw it, I thought, man, that's a little drastic, because we literally halved the inhibitor health. Like, well, not literally, I guess. What's that number? You still have the numbers up there, Windu, the health?
Yeah. It was 6,500 to like 30. It was
63 to 34 or something?
So like that, it went from T1 to inhibitor. 4,000, 3,500, 6,300. Now it's 3,600, 3,400, 3,200.
Yeah, so 63. Yeah, so pretty much, you
almost
almost halved it exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I looked at it, I'm like, that's me not knowing how these numbers work. I'm like, that's drastic. Yeah. That's crazy change.
That's a lot why I talk too. A lot. I've been trying to talk to everybody who's talking about it in a very negative light. Like, I'm like, I understand your feedback and I appreciate your feedback. All right. 100% appreciate your feedback. One thing you got to understand though is that there is different situations for what you're looking at. You're telling me that your Twin Blast is taking your tower at 6 minutes. Okay. Did they just win lane? Did your Twin Blast push the enemy Twin Blast out of lane 3 or 4 times and you expect him to get nothing for it? No, he's taking that tower. In games like League where they have plates, which are dummy hard to take, I can still kill that tier 1 tower within 10 minutes before the plates even drop if I'm just winning lane. Okay. Right? And that's just how it is. If I'm able to constantly get under tower, or like you're pushed out of lane and I get to take my time taking that tower because you did nothing to me, that's what happens.
I will say, I definitely feel that T1 change is substantial, because
I agree.
Late game 3,000, that's a different argument to have. early game 400 HP, bro, when I'm only hitting 80,
50, yeah,
that's substantial, bro. Like, yo, I just put on crossbow, I'm at 96, bro. Chill.
Yeah.
Like 400 definitely makes a difference, and you can feel it.
I definitely think tier 1s are the worst feeling towers, but I also think that they're supposed to be the worst feeling towers, right? They're tier 1s, but you also got to remember, like, they're not safe havens. And when exactly do you want when exactly should your tier 1 be in danger? At what point in the game should your tier 1 be, okay, this is just not really an objective for me, I shouldn't be under here because they're just going to take it, right? And if your answer is like 12 minutes, I think you're wrong, because 12 minutes is like a little under what I would, in my opinion, of half of a game, half of a non super even game be, right? If you're both like sweating it out, you're like you're doing good, you guys are trading, you guys are doing everything, right? Then your game's going to be 45, 50 minutes. I still have those if I'm having an evenly matched setup, right? But if even one is still like just skillfully better than the other, what time do you want your tier 1 to fall? What is your thought process of this tier 1? I should not count this as a tower anymore.
Are you literally asking me, or is that like,
yeah, I'm literally asking you.
I know my answer.
That I don't know.
Because it's not going to be a safe haven.
No.
After a certain point in the game, you
right.
shouldn't be under that tower, because they're gonna dive under there no matter who they are. So at what point in the game do you think that should be? And I don't know is a perfectly fine answer.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I would say somewhere between 7 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that's most commonly right now when tier 1s are falling.
I will say though,
Windu, you're muted, sir.
Oh. Hello.
Hello.
I will say though, I don't fully understand why they choose the economy choices that they make. Because, for example, gold buff is huge, right? I like the fact that gold buff gives you that economy boost, and you know what? I might actually get to finish my third item before 20 minutes now. Like, huge, right? But let's say you don't have let's say you don't have gold buff. Let's say you're solo. Let's say you're mid, etc. Whatever, right? Let's say you don't have that gold buff. Now, not speaking of things to come, but at the end of the day, it's still incredibly interesting to me how they value their economy and then put that side by side with time to kill, put that side by side with towers going down, etc. Because again, I'm with you. Like, usually by 10 minutes, if you're still holding your T1, you're a fucking champ,
no,
bro.
Yeah, you're yeah.
But you probably should have rotated to help out another lane by now. Low key. Speaking to you solo laners that live it's protecting that T1 for half an hour.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just hard, man. Like, I definitely feel like people would be more likely to leave the quote-unquote safe haven if it wasn't for the fact that there's still only one item, boots, and an A pistol 17 minutes deep.
So there is one thing that I do want to talk about, at least from I'm a carry player. If anyone hasn't gotten that yet, that's what I play mainly, right? So in duo lane, there is a problem, in my personal opinion, with balance wise as far as what crossbow does. I think crossbow's passive should be cut in half, personally. I think it should be. I think it's too good of a good first item. It should just be cut to 3% and see if that brings more choice to your first item. Number one. Number two, I think that in carry lane, your gold buff is super important, and it does a lot for you as far as like starting the snowball early, right, and getting your items. But I also think that if played correctly, you can punish them, especially now that the buffs transfer on death. if you know your lane, management, right? Generally speaking, what does the enemy team do when they feel that they can go for gold buff? What's their lane wave position, right? It's at your tower, so you're shoved in.
They shove it,
right? Yep. If you freeze that and have that sitting there, and you're just sitting there chilling farming, it takes first shrine, if their jungler isn't there, right? If there's not 3 people attacking the shrine, then it takes probably about 2 waves to get it done by themselves. And that right there is enough gold to have you go and either kill them when they walk back in the lane and go back, or just go back and get an item and be more powerful than them in lane, right? I think you need to like really correctly weigh your options when you're in lane like that, and be like, okay, while he's taking his time to do this, what can I do to offset that balance he's going to come back to lane with? And that to me is where your balance is going to come into concern. Like, is gold buff too strong to where if I don't get it, I immediately lose lane, even if I sit there and I perfectly CS these 2 waves? That even if I back, it doesn't matter. They're just going to be so much bigger when I kill them, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, okay, maybe I need to lower this gold amount. But like those numbers like that, those numbers are so like, they just need so much repetition to really like massage, right? So I just think it's a hard thing to 100% get balanced for first time. And I think it's important for us to like, as players, to like look at these buffs and these shrines and stuff and be like, okay, give valid feedback on like, okay, maybe gold buff's giving too much gold or something like that. But it's right now, there's a lot of people that are just like, no, I haven't seen anyone talk about them. I haven't seen a single person in Gen Chat personally talk about shrines. And I think people I want people to talk about it. Talk to me about it, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
but I don't know. It's difficult because I personally, I have no idea. I can't akin to what you're saying as far as like 3 items, because I end games with 4 or 5 items almost every game if it's not like a steamroll. But I don't know.
I have a question with one of these balances going off the shrine, going away from the shrines. Sorry.
No, you're good. We kind of need to speed through it anyway.
So jungle blue buff now grants 10% cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
Right? I know that if you go to the hero builder, by I think it was FHN did it, whatever. You go to hero builder, you see that you can only do 40% cooldown reduction.
Yes, sir.
If I already have my 40%, do I not get the benefit of that buff then? Is that how that works? Or am I going to get an extra 50, or get an extra 10% on top of that?
If I haven't checked,
it should
if it
be
100% does,
10.
But it should add to it. I personally have not checked, so I'm not sure, but it should be over the cap because it is an outside influence on your stat.
All right.
It's like your aspect that gives you that 10% extra item cooldown reduction.
Yep.
That gives you that extra cooldown reduction on your items.
Gotcha. Okay.
Bro, whose idea was it to reduce the damage on QS and let's increase the range by about like 2/5?
I think it's great. I think that's a great change. This wasn't my idea, but I love it.
Dude, it was bonkers.
I'm a QS steel dude. I love it. I will engage on you.
And the cooldown is less.
Yep.
Dude, it's crazy. It honestly is crazy. I kid you not. I saw a Narbash with QS. They siege. They just took our inhib. The Narbash just spawned. Murdock goes to run away. He's like 1 hit, right? Narbash QS's. They spend the next 30 seconds chasing each other around, but Narbash can't catch up, but he's doing movement speed every 8 seconds to try and catch up. And then for the very, very end, you just see that last QS pop up again, and QS thunk kill. And I was like, this motherfucker got the kill. Get me the fuck out of here. I know he was salty as shit.
That's a feels good for the Narbash. What do you mean?
But bro, the QS distance is so long. I had a Morigesh QS from behind the fog wall, showed up in the middle of my minions. Bro, literally, we're like...
This was you and me and Sock. Sock was the Morgesh. Yes,
bro, it literally just, why? And it's like, where the fuck did she come from? I was like, you ready? You ready? Go. I'm not up there.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
He's like, attack left. And I saw the ping. I'm like, oh, attack left. So I looked on the map to see where he was at to judge the time. And then I heard the bzzz from Morgesh. And then all of a sudden, like, I look and he's in the middle of the minions towards the enemy tower. And I'm under our tower. Like, what happened? Like, how did it happen so fast?
QS happened, baby. Let's go.
Now, granted, I really do think that they might want to actually strip the power even a little bit more down to like
maybe a little bit,
15 or 20. Because I'll be real with you, that distance, the outplay potential, that should be 100% a utility item for me.
I mean, it's a great, it's like, to me, it's like
the fact that gives you power. Yeah, but the fact that gives you power is nutty. That much utility and power. It's like, bro, pick your poison. You build power, you build utility. I'm not going to give you crazy utility and some power. Be like, let's just throw some sprinkles on top. Oh, bro. Kind of cracked. Now, I will say, they killed King. Low-key.
Negative. I disagree with you.
Ooh.
Fight me.
As a carry main.
So, okay, so here's the thing. Main. No, so here's the thing. As far as CS goes, yeah,
so much better.
Substantial. So a million times better. It's literally double. Literally double.
Yeah.
As far as CS goes. But the average person, quite frankly, after about 100 CS,
just stop. That's it.
Bro, I'm 3 items deep. Yo, we're hunting, bro. When am I hitting minions? When I'm fucking bored. Or when I'm trying to be safe, or you know what, let me farm a little bit more, etc.
We're trying to push the tower.
I mean, at that 100 CS, you have 600 more gold.
I mean, I'll be real with you, bro. If it takes me 20 minutes to get 100 CS and I have an extra 300 gold,
the only reason why I think King is still good is because of its interaction with gold buff. That's it for me personally.
You can stack it, yeah. But my thing is, like, I've been testing on it back and forth, and my biggest hurt is that 5%, 20 to 5.
Oh yeah,
like that is killer, bro.
Yeah, it's still really good on like high bounty targets, but yeah, it's definitely to me that's like, it is the I'm a power farmer aspect now. Like, it's all I want to do in lane is sit there in lane and take my last hits and like not really try to not fight my opponent, and then just come out of lane bigger than my opponent.
I could see that,
but I do think Hunter is better currently.
Yeah,
as far as honestly, like an all around aspect, I think Hunter's better.
I can, if it takes me 20 minutes to get the 300 gold for those 100 minions, low key, Hunter and Ace are gonna get me 1,000 gold because I got 3 kills in those 20 minutes.
Yeah, so I also think it's I think competitively you might see King more, right? Because like you take every percentage you can in lane and to get ahead, and you're not gonna have more games where that carry is now left at his tier 2 to sit there and freeze that wave and farm, because the rest of his team can kind of deal with what's going on without him, and also he comes out of lane huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, isn't King though like you need to have somebody next to you?
No.
Isn't it?
Negative.
I could be 100% wrong. I'm looking at it right now real quick. But I just think they almost made it too crazy. See, look, effect 1, gate 3 gold on lane minion kill if an ally is within 2,000 units. They just changed it from 3 to 6.
I thought they removed that. Okay, then maybe I'm just stupid.
You feel me?
Either way,
no. I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying, but I
still think on like your Sparrow, I think King is better.
I could see that because you got to be a little bit safer.
Yeah, I think on Grim, Hunter is by far better. I think Grim's passive buff, by the way, is nuts.
Dude, Hunter with red stance is nutty. Let's just throw that out there.
I'm fast.
But I don't know, man. Like I personally think that it probably
I think it's
was
just a readjustment. I think it's okay. This was a kill focused, bounty hunting focused aspect. When you killed somebody with a bounty, it was 2,000 gold. Now it's take your last hits, play the game, like play the MOBA style of games, not the team deathmatch style of game, and get rewarded for it.
Which I like the gold buff for that.
Yeah. I think it was also a balancing change as well, because there was an episode that Windu, it was an episode with Ryan. Windu said, if you're not taking King, you're inting.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
So if that's the way it was, now they changed King to where now it's like, okay, now let's start getting other aspects used as well.
I mean, I use Hunter often, but that's because like if I'm looking at like a Twin Blast Decker. No, because when I look at a Twin Blast Decker lane, I know that they're going to be aggressive, and I need that heal off the last hits to keep me in lane longer.
Hey, can somebody explain to me why Grim still shows 0 mana for everything, bro?
It's because it's not mana. It's not everything. It's shield shows.
Okay, energy.
35.
Energy. Sorry, energy.
Yeah, it's because it's not mana. That's why we already talked about it. It's gonna be fixed.
Yeah, like low key, I still have to be like left control. How much energy is it? All right, bet. Let me look at the bottom bar. How much energy? Bro, I literally tap Q and I'm like Q. Love.
Yeah.
Like it's so fucking annoying.
Well, that also I think it's also because like Q takes a lot of mana, energy. It takes like 3/4 of your bar of energy to lob one Q.
Unless you're in the yellow stance or the lime green stance, whatever the fuck.
I mean, I take yellow. I'm in yellow stance 95% of laning phase because I'm just shooting those every 2 seconds because I'm just hitting minions, getting up my energy, shooting it. Every single time it's off cooldown, I'm shooting at my enemy carry, just to harass them, not because it does damage.
I was about to say I poke with blue, but yeah, I get you.
Now, I've made somebody miss siege last hit because I queued them away from it.
Oh no, yeah, that's a strat. That's a strat. So my thing is to correct me if I'm wrong, but Richter on the pre-patch gameplay that partner tried, and Richter now are two different Richter.
100%. Remember when I said that there was bugs that we fixed between when you guys played and when the patch came live? There's some bugs that we fixed.
Like I definitely feel that his pull is a lot more toned down now. Like before, that shit was on crack. Like super fucking quick. You could barely react.
They touched some of the projectiles. Yep. Made them feel better. Made them look better.
Now, those are the kind of things where I really wish they put an inch. You feel me? Like we know there's a history of things that get changed that don't get updated in the patch notes. Sometimes it might be insignificant. Sometimes, you know, it might be worthwhile. For example, Forest passive not working before and it's actually fully working, etc. Like just things that we should have probably been announced a little bit more. But
I think that's one of those things that land under SFX rework. That's like, I'm not going to go in depth to it. You just play your characters, and when it feels better, you know it's because of this.
I guess.
I mean, why make the patch like 17 sentences longer when you can just say, "Hey, there's an FSX rework. A lot of heroes got touched."
I mean, I'm already scrolling 37 years. You might as well just add another paragraph of shit.
True.
You know.
True.
It's not like this is a short patch notes. Like shit. Not even close.
True.
But I do find it interesting. They say the road ahead, patch 13, we've taken another large step towards full release, laid down more foundations for us to build upon. I like that they say that. That problem should probably be bold. We still have more work to do, and below we have provided a list of some of the major changes we're working on in no particular order, right? Now, we've seen this list before.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it interesting that they're still coming back to the list.
It's different though. I mean, the majority of it's the same, but there's difference to it.
Like
visual and animation polish was not on there. The very bottom one was not on there.
Console release.
Console release, true.
Yep.
But it, okay, I guess I could see that just to officially add it to the list, even though console release, like it's eventually gonna come to console. We're working on it. I feel like that's like echoed on a daily basis.
Well,
But
I think that is a low key jab at another game, because how they came out and said, "Hey, we're cross-platform," and it's like, yeah, you're on Epic and you're on Steam, right? You're cross-platform, but people took that as, "Hey, we are
cross-platform
console
equals console.
we're
Yeah.
console." So
I
this is
noticed
like,
that.
"Hey, we're
Causation
working
equals
on
correlation.
console release," right? So this is that letting you know that this is a thing. We are working
Directly
on
to
it.
console.
It literally says road ahead. It doesn't say how far that road is, but this is where we're going. It is at the very bottom of that list. Doesn't mean that's the sequential order that we're working on things, but it's at the bottom.
Now, you know what I actually think is not smart? Asking for reviews.
Do you notice what the review is though?
I mean, I get it. Enjoying the game, leave a review. Great
I
game, would recommend. Where's my phase though? I get it.
I think that's a nod, my guy.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I think it's just a Steam.
I'll take phase
whatever.
for sure.
I think that's. I mean, so here's the thing. I could see phase because Richter's such a dominant force in a duo. So I could see having a counter, because right now there is no counter to Richter except step sideways and show your skinny side. But I just, here's the thing. In early access, I think it's very crucial and very, almost very bad to get too many reviews, because here's the thing. For example, Fault right now is nothing like Fault July of 2020. Follow?
Yeah.
And
right.
As far as when it comes down to it, they might have gotten positive reviews, negative reviews based off of an old version. Maybe when the game is more stable and when the game is more towards the closer end goal, okay, give us reviews now, because when we go to full release, those reviews are going to be based off of what people are more likely to experience. Feel me?
Yeah.
But like asking for a review now, and let's say everything changes with the new map, it's almost like cluttering the board with positive and negative reviews that might be irrelevant in 6 months.
That's fair.
So, I mean, yeah, but let's go off the fact that, all right, if you like the game, what are the chances you're going to go drop a review?
Dude, I'll be real with you. It takes a special person to even leave a review, positive or negative.
But majority of the time, if it's something, it's the negative people. It's the people who just want to be toxic and just go out there. That's the one that's going to be out there. And so they're the ones that are going to go drop the review. That's why it literally says, enjoying the game, ? Leave a review. So it's like if you're enjoying it, come leave a review. Like they're in a sense requesting for a positive review because they did get so many negative reviews. So they're trying to get, like, hey, just so you know, this is out here. Patch 13 is getting a lot of good hype so far. We're noting, it says in the very beginning of the patch, right? In this update, the reactions of 13 have been an amazing experience to witness, so it's been positive. If you do like this, please do us a favor, go drop that review of what you're letting us know in Discord,
I can see that.
And because you guys, as a community want this game to grow, you as a community want a bigger player base, right? Go drop a positive review and let it show up on Steam, and it's going to be a better situation so that random person's like, oh, this game's actually got pretty decent reviews. Let me jump in there.
I could see it. I don't know. Like,
I mean, I definitely see your point. You are asking for negative as well. But you can use negative reviews to learn from. So, how do you want to, it's how you want to go, I guess.
I just think one negative review is way worse than 10 positive ones at this stage.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah, but
that's just how the world is.
Yeah. I mean, you got to
do
make
a million right things, but if I do that one bad thing, you're gonna remember that one bad thing.
Yeah.
You also
got to open the floodgates, right? You got to be able to be like, hey, like leave your review, give us the feedback. You know what I mean? Because like there are people that don't give us feedback that because they don't give us feedback, we might never know what their idea is, and that might be a great idea. You know what I mean? Whether it's negative connotation or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and that's like, as a streamer, that's like, you're gonna get those toxic people that come in your chat, but if you get those 10 toxic people, but one of them was a good person, that to me is a positive. You're still moving forward. You found somebody that's going to be a constant viewer for you. Yeah, you had to go through 10 toxic to get there, but you're still moving forward. So just takes how long. Depends on how long you're gonna get there for. But I understand.
But to me, like, discoverability versus review are two very different things. Like, as far as discoverability, yeah, if a game has to go through 10 people to keep one, first of all, those aren't great retentions. But regardless, I understand that as far as, trying to acquire customers, player base, etc. But as far as reviews, I don't know. I would just caution them. It might be just a little too early. Maybe at least, like, if the next map, for example, is going to be the map for a while, even though tweaks and changes, etc., similar to how this map was the map for a while, then, maybe at that point start asking for reviews, etc. But don't ask for reviews and then 2 months later, but here's the thing, we're switching it up.
Just think about that. Now you brought that in my head, and you made me think about it. Oh gosh.
Well, what I'm saying, bro, like, because I can see both sides. It's smart, but at the same time, I don't like the slickness of it. You're liking this? You think it's better? Leave a review because of it. But leave it, I'm letting you know now, within the first couple days. I'm not asking you to leave a review a month from now about patch 13 that's been a month old. You get me? Like, asking for reviews based off of hype, I don't necessarily support, because it doesn't accurately represent the product. And not that the product is bad, the product is good, and it deserves representation. But trying to get a review based off of an emotion, a hit of dopamine, so to speak, it's just, to me, it doesn't come across the right way, personally. That's what I'm saying. It might be a little bit too soon. Maybe wait till things steady out, whether it be here or steady out more towards the overall perspective of the game. But I get the both sides. I get both sides. I understand that they also need the reviews based off of, that one bad person is worse than 10 good reviews. They need more positive good ones. I 100% agree. And I'll tell everybody, if you enjoy the game, leave a review. It really does help them out. But I just don't like the timing of it, and the fact that it's like, hey, are you enjoying the game? It's only been a couple days. Make sure you leave a review. It hasn't even been a full week. Feel me?
Right.
I'm not gonna give you a review on a car that I just bought within a week. Like, bruh, I might hit you up in a couple months and let you know how I really feel about the game, or a couple weeks, or etc. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, most people, I feel like majority of people are like the knee-jerk viewers, though, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. So here's a question for you though, because I don't know, I've never left I've never left a review on Steam. Newly, PC player, just before Fault came out. Are you able to go in and edit a review on Steam? On Amazon, you are able to go in and edit a review. Like, hey, I did this, and well, now it's actually broken. So hold up, the review that I gave you earlier.
I've seen edited reviews, so I would say yeah, because I've seen some people be like edited, and then, hey, you know what? Like, the game, like, there's literally, like, I've seen games where I'm like, hey, I might buy this. Original review is like, yo, this game is great, love it, PvP, and you can play on your phone. Edited, nobody plays this game now. So yeah, I get it.
All right,
but I think that's pretty much wrapping it up. Literally at the 2-hour mark. Yikes! I blame Armadillo.
I do.
I rant a lot. All right, listen. You asked me to come here, and you asked me such important questions, and I have to say what I need to say. All right.
No, you're good. I mean, a reason that today's video was actually substantially longer is because last week's video the file got corrupted, so we lost it completely. Ed was in that one, so rip Ed. He's not able to be.
Rest in peace, my man's Ed.
Sorry, maybe Hops had the video, but
Ed's busy getting off the buffs and jumping into enemy core. All right.
Oh my god.
I do want to end this though real quick because you brought it up and you thought about like how like the reviews and the changes, the subtle changes to the map or whatever. So that I kind of want people to think about the changes of the map that we've had here. Like, remember Red Buff had 3 minion camps. Now we got shrines added to it. You know, just the changes that have subtly happened with this map.
True.
That's gonna happen with the new map as well. But I'm just excited to see the growth.
True.
I mean, I something like my thing, like I'm thinking is like right now, I think these shrines and stuff, these shrines probably could have waited for the new map, right? But I feel like this gives us time to really like nail down the shrines and the gameplay, and that way on the new map they're already a concrete thing. You know what I mean?
I'm glad they came out now because this gives you the ability to balance them. So when the new map comes out, we're more worried about the bugs with the new map because there's going to be bugs. We all know it. So when the new map comes out, we're more worried about focusing on the bugs because the everything else is feeling smooth the way it should.
Yep. I just like the patch, to be honest. Anybody that was hesitating to even try it, it's only $20. It's honestly worth the $20 at minimum.
I think,
right?
Even as a team member, I definitely think now the $20 price tag to me is worth it. Like, not like I don't care about like before, right? I've always told people if you're even slightly concerned about the game, don't spend your money, right? See how the game develops. But I personally think if I was from the outside looking in, now is the time when I'd be like, maybe I can spend that 20 personally. However, still do what you want to do. Wait for full release to try it, whatever you want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True. But
By no means you need to spend your money.
We spent way too long on this video, but thank you.
Bye.
Arma for being here, right?
Yeah.
And until next video.
Never again.
Peace.
Bye.
Rick.